Hey everyone, and welcome to the Metaphysics Podcast. Today we are going to take a deep dive into the concept of the vortex.
Okay.
I know that might sound a little esoteric or even a bit out there for some of you.
Yeah.
But trust me, this is a concept that has the potential to radically change the way you view your life, your purpose, and your ability to manifest your dreams.
Absolutely. And the vortex is often misunderstood. You see, it's not some mystical location or like a swirling energy field you need to visualize yourself stepping into.
Yeah.
It's more of a state of alignment with your true self where things just flow.
So it's internal rather than external.
Exactly. And it's not even about achieving some constant state of euphoria or bliss.
Right.
It's more about finding that sweet spot where you can experience joy and well-being even when life throws curveballs.
So it's like a sense of ease and flow even when things are challenging.
Precisely. You hit the nail on the head.
So how do we actually tap into this state of being? I mean, is it about positive thinking, meditation? What are the steps to get into the vortex?
Well, positive thinking definitely plays a role, but it runs deeper than that.
Okay.
It's about aligning with your true self, your authentic essence, that core of who you really are.
I love that. And I think it's something we often lose sight of in the busyness of everyday life.
Absolutely. You know what? Think about it this way.
Okay.
Have you ever felt that feeling of being completely in your element
Yes.
when you're doing something you love, like you're firing on all cylinders?
Absolutely.
That's a taste of the vortex, a glimpse of what it feels like to be in that state of pure alignment and flow.
That makes so much sense. And it makes me think of purpose because we often talk about finding our purpose. Is being in the vortex linked to that in any way?
Absolutely. In fact, I'd say that's where the true power of the vortex lies,
Okay.
We often think of purpose as some grand external achievement, like a specific career path or a big contribution we need to make to the world. But what if the real purpose is simply to experience joy?
So you're suggesting that joy itself is the purpose, not just a byproduct of fulfilling our purpose.
Precisely. When we align with our true selves and allow ourselves to experience joy, we naturally expand and evolve.
And the vortex supports that.
It does. It enhances it. We become more of who we truly are. And you know what? We start to attract experiences that match that vibration.
Let's talk about vibration then, because that's a term we hear so much in metaphysical circles.
Yes.
Can we break that down a bit? What does vibration actually mean?
Sure. So at its core, everything in the universe is energy, and energy vibrates at different frequencies. Your thoughts, your emotions, even your physical body, they all have a vibrational frequency.
Okay.
And this is where the principle of attracts like comes into play.
Interesting.
The vibration you emit attracts experiences that match that same frequency.
So if I'm constantly stressed and anxious, I'm basically sending out a signal that's going to attract more stress and anxiety into my life.
That's the idea, but here's the good news.
Okay, good, because that sounds a little scary.
It can be if you let it, but remember your true self, your authentic essence, that vibrates at a very high frequency.
Oh, okay.
The frequency of love, joy, well-being, and that vibration is always there, even when you're experiencing negative emotions.
Okay, so it's not about suppressing those negative emotions. It's more about recognizing that they don't define us.
Exactly. It's like having a radio dial, right?
Yeah.
You can choose which station you want to tune into. You can focus on the negative, or you can consciously make an effort to tune into a more positive, uplifting frequency.
So how do we do that? I mean, what are some practical tips for shifting our vibration?
Well, that's what we're going to dive into in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a quick break. And we are back with our deep dive into the vortex. Before the break, we were talking about how our thoughts and emotions literally vibrate and attract similar energies back to us. It's a powerful concept, but how do we practically apply this to our lives? How do we actually shift that vibration?
Well, it starts with self-awareness. Paying attention to those internal conversations we have with ourselves.
Yeah, those inner monologues, right? The ones that can sometimes be pretty brutal.
Exactly. What are you saying to yourself throughout the day? Are your thoughts mostly positive, mostly negative, or is it somewhere in between? Just notice without judgment.
It's amazing how often we're not even aware of the constant stream of thoughts running through our heads.
Exactly. It's like background noise. But this background noise is actually shaping our reality, and once you become aware of it, you can start to shift it.
Okay, so let's say I catch myself thinking some pretty negative thoughts. What's the next step?
Well, try reframing those thoughts. For example, instead of saying, I'm so terrible at this, you could say, I'm still learning and I'm proud of myself for trying.
So it's about finding a more positive spin, a more empowering way of looking at things.
Exactly. It might feel a little forced at first,
Right.
but with practice, you can literally retrain your brain to focus on more supportive, more uplifting thoughts.
And that's what helps us move towards the vortex.
Precisely. Every time you shift from a negative thought to a positive one, you're raising your vibration and moving closer to that state of alignment.
This all makes sense, but I think a lot of people might be wondering, okay, but how do I even know what my true self is? How do I align with something I can't even define?
That's a great question, and it's a journey of self-discovery for sure.
Yeah.
One way to start is to pay attention to what brings you joy. What activities make you feel truly alive, energized, like you're in your element.
It's like tapping into those things that light us up,
Yeah.
the things that make us feel passionate and excited.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be some grand pursuit. It could be something as simple as, I don't know, spending time in nature, listening to your favorite music, or having a meaningful conversation with a loved one.
It's those little things that feed our souls.
Yes. And the more you cultivate those moments of joy, the higher your vibration will be, and the more easily you'll be able to access the vortex.
Okay, so we've got self-awareness, reframing negative thoughts, and cultivating joy. What else can we do to stay connected to the vortex?
Oh, there are so many tools and techniques, but one of the most powerful is gratitude.
Yes, gratitude. We hear about that a lot.
And for good reason. When you focus on what you're grateful for, it instantly shifts your vibration to a higher frequency.
I've heard it said that gratitude is like the antidote to negativity.
It really is. And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be anything major. It could be as simple as appreciating a sunny day or, a delicious cup of coffee or the fact that you have a roof over your head.
It's about finding those little things to be thankful for, even when life feels challenging.
Precisely. And the more you practice gratitude, the more you start to notice things to be grateful for. It's like a muscle you can strengthen.
Right, it becomes a habit, a way of looking at the world.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective can have such a profound impact on our overall well-being.
We touched on this earlier, but can you tell us more about what it means to be a vibrational uplifter?
Sure. So being a vibrational uplifter is about radiating positivity and uplifting others through your energy, not necessarily through your words or actions.
So it's not about preaching positivity or trying to force people to be happy.
No, not at all. It's about cultivating a genuine state of well-being within yourself that naturally inspires and uplifts those around you.
It's like leading by example.
Exactly. Think about a time when you were around someone who just radiated warmth and joy. How did their presence make you feel?
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. It's contagious, right? Their energy just rubs off on you.
Exactly. And that's the power of being a vibrational uplifter. It's something we can all cultivate by focusing on our own inner alignment and well-being.
This brings up an interesting question for me. How do we balance taking care of our own well-being while also being there for others, especially when they're going through a difficult time? Can we hold space for someone else's pain while still maintaining our own high vibration?
That's a really important question, and it's something we'll explore in more detail in the next part of our deep dive.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into the vortex. We've been talking about how we'll align with our true selves, raise our vibration, and become what you called a vibrational uplifter.
Mm-hmm.
But before the break, we were talking about something that I think a lot of people struggle with. How do we hold space for others who are going through a tough time, maybe they're experiencing grief or loss or just feeling really down without getting pulled down into their negativity? Is that even possible?
Yeah, that's a really important question, and it gets to the heart of practicing compassion and empathy.
Okay.
Being a vibrational uplifter doesn't mean you ignore suffering or pretend that everything is always sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
It's about recognizing that even in the midst of pain and the darkness, there's still a spark of light, a glimmer of hope.
I like that. So it's about holding space for both the light and the darkness, acknowledging that life is full of both.
Exactly. Life is a tapestry. It's woven with all sorts of threads, light and shadow, joy and sorrow. And it's that contrast that makes it so beautiful.
Yeah, it's in those contrasts that we really grow and learn and evolve. But practically speaking, how do we do that? How do we offer support to someone who's hurting without letting their energy drain us?
Well, one of the most important things to remember is you can't pour from an empty cup,
Yeah.
You can't offer genuine compassion and support if you're running on fumes. So it's crucial that you take care of yourself first.
That makes sense. We have to make sure our own well-being is a priority.
Absolutely. And it's not selfish at all. In fact, it's the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for others. When your cup is full, you have more to give.
Okay, so assuming we've taken care of ourselves,
Right.
how do we then show up for someone who's struggling? Are there specific things we can do or say?
Well, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply listen. Just be fully present with the person who's hurting.
Yeah.
Let them know that you see them, you hear them, and you care about what they're going through.
It's about offering a loving presence without trying to fix or change anything.
Exactly. And sometimes the most supportive thing you can do is just validate their feelings.
Yep.
Let them know it's okay to feel sad, angry, or frustrated.
So we're not trying to force positivity on them.
No, not at all.
Right.
It's about giving them the space to process their emotions authentically without judgment.
And as we're listening, can we still hold the intention of being a vibrational uplifter?
Absolutely. Your energy is powerful even if you don't say anything explicitly positive. Your presence can still offer comfort and support.
I see. So it's like we're holding a space of love and light for them, even if they're in a dark place.
Precisely. And when someone feels seen and heard in that way, it can help them tap into their own inner strength, their resilience. Remember, even in the darkest of times, the vortex is still there.
Okay.
That state of alignment is always available, even if it feels far away.
So we can actually help others access the vortex by being present with them, by holding that space of love and light.
Exactly. You become a beacon of light, a source of hope, simply by embodying the principles of the vortex in your own life.
This has been such an insightful conversation. We've covered so much ground, the basics of the vortex, how to shift our vibration, the power of gratitude, and even how to hold space for others while maintaining our own well-being. As we wrap up, is there one final thought you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, remember that mantra I shared earlier?
The one about looking for the things we want to see.
Exactly. Today, no matter where I'm going and no matter what I am doing, it is my dominant intent to look for those things that I'm wanting to see. For I am one who compliments. I am one who appreciates. I am one who loves. It is my natural heritage. It is who I am. Let that be your guiding principle and trust that the universe is always conspiring to support you, to help you create a life that is aligned with your highest self.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. It's been an incredible deep dive into the vortex.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us on the Metaphysics Podcast. We'll see you next time.